good morning. It's the morning meeting show. It's time to get ready. Come on, let's go. The tea is ready and you are here, so everybody gather near.
That has verses.
Yes.
Good morning. Very, very early. Crack of dawn on Thursday. I was in LA yesterday, so we weren't able to film our Thursday. We tried to do it 24 hours beforehand. Now we're doing it 24 minutes beforehand.
24 seconds before this goes live. We should just film it live, but with the dogs, they're the unknown variable. You just never know.
I think one day we will do it live. We used to do it live. It's just the dogs are the unknown variable. We're trying very hard on this episode not to do any edits.
Yeah. And it is a great episode we have for you guys. You are going to want to watch till the end.
And we've decided we like the idea of a theme. We thought the theme of the emergency room worked really nicely.
The cat rescue, the famous cat rescue one.
So
and being former teachers, where themes are not having a through line and a theme. It just
it also helps as writers.
A little more yes, as writers. True.
Right? I might edit out the word teachers. We'll see.
Well, because this is a morning meeting, so we build our morning meeting around being teachers.
Well, and writers have morning meetings too, right? Before they head to the writer's room.
But we've got the little chalkboard set up.
And a chalkboard is sort of like what they do when you're brainstorming for a writing meeting.
So following the theme of this being former teachers doing a morning meeting.
Current writers.
But I mean on our blurb it
getting ready for the writer's room.
But we were leaning into...
That's why we're leaning into...
Current teachers.
A playful writer's room. Oh, no! The theme today, I'm really not going to edit anything out. The theme is yesterday. So the current event, the current, we had to.
Oh, that's right. We don't want to say that. We don't want to say the music.
We have to pepper in all of our little spices.
Usage.
We're going to, anything that happened yesterday is the current event. It's the show and tell. It's the story. It's even our wildlife watch. Everything is yesterday.
Everything's yesterday.
So,
which normally would be today, but we're actually filming today. So yesterday
is Wednesday. And
who knew?
And wow, honey has treed a chipmunk. And she has decided this is her moment.
Honey has been treed by a chipmunk. She is a very excitable little thing.
So yesterday I was driving down to LA, which I lived in LA. I lived in LA for half my life.
Almost half your life.
But when I go down there, it doesn't feel
like home.
It doesn't at all. I always think, isn't it strange to spend a huge portion of your life in a place, and when you go down there, that boggles my mind. Like nothing feels familiar. Maybe because it's a big city. It's always changing.
Community. It's a hard place.
Well,
because it's so
a lot of my
out.
Community has left, or moved away, or is living
it's so
elsewhere.
Spread out. So even I remember when you would host game nights and things like. People are coming from Glendale and past, like everyone is, no one wants to jump in their car and drive for an hour and a half to go 4 miles. And that's the...
Well, and my friends are now, we do remote game nights actually, and remote communication.
Zoom.
So, I guess I don't equate it as a place where I have to find my friends. I find them on my laptop.
I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way. I think there's a mass exodus from LA right now. Because...
But also when I was heading up, so I go down, and I'll tell you more about that in show and tell. And as I'm heading on my way back up, as soon as I hit the mountain, like as soon as you finish with the freeways and the palm trees and all the mass development and all the factory-looking buildings and all of the Amazons.
I was going to say all the Amazon, what are those
the Amazons.
The Dropbox places.
They're everywhere. Well, especially once you hit like upland area, it's just Amazon building after Amazon. So once you pass all that and you hit the mountain road, I'm like, I've only lived here for 3 years, but then I feel like I'm heading home. Like as soon as you like,
well, and it feels like Connecticut up here. There's 4 seasons.
Yeah.
There's
like
nature
roads. Does that work? Home to the place I belong, West Virginia or the mountains.
Morton Mountain. What? Morton Mountain.
What's that Morton Mountain?
I don't know the words. More than mountains.
More than mountains.
More than mountains. Country road.
All right. It felt like
I don't know if we have to pay the rights for that song now.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're like, no,
that's not
our song. Have at it.
That wasn't it.
Congratulations on writing a new song. Weather. Alexa, what is the weather today?
The current weather is 34 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Today's forecast has partly sunny weather, with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 34 degrees.
34 degrees.
34.
If there was precipitation, it would be sleet. It would be
30,
sleet.
it is very,
It's
very
so
chilly.
cold.
Hence my little turtleneck under. Allison had asked me
Hence
last
my
night
flannel.
when we had our little, meeting about what this morning
I
would
said
entail.
red, ruby
Allison
red.
said wear red, and this is the shirt I was going to wear. And I woke up this morning, I was like, we turned on the heat for the first time yesterday afternoon, and then turned it off for the evenings because we were like, well,
It's not that cold.
it's not that cold,
It's
but
not that
34,
cold.
crying out
Yeah.
loud, winter's here.
And Honey's at the door.
Honey's giving a cheer because winter's here. Everybody near should
Not a musical version. We will do a
look.
musical
It's a
version.
deer.
No.
Bum, bum,
But
bum,
pause for
bum,
I do
bum,
have to
bum. Winter's
sneeze
here.
and
Oh.
blow my nose, and I don't want to do that on camera. You will see a cut. It's only because I'm blowing my nose.
Bum, bum, bum.
We're
Winter's
back.
here.
Oh,
Everybody
no.
near.
No, it's not
Grab
the
a
musical.
deer.
We are going to do a musical episode, and it's not this one. All right, so
We'll give you fair warning so you can decide whether you want to.
word of the day. Word of the day.
Okay, let me tell you.
Word of the day. Word of the day.
So when you told me the theme was going to be yesterday, when you told me yesterday that the theme was yesterday, today, when you told me yesterday that the theme was today being yesterday, for today, I thought, I have a word of the day app that I never, ever, ever, ever use.
Oh.
And I thought, I'll just see what yesterday's word of the day was, because that's on theme. What yesterday was.
Oh,
because
got it. Because that's the theme.
That's
All
the
right.
theme.
Go ahead, Sin.
So, the little made me watch an ad. That has changed since I downloaded the app in 1987. And it says now you must watch
You were
it.
born.
If
You were
wanna
alive
unlo-
in 1987?
If you
I
want to
wasn't.
unlock, well, I was being hyperbolic, but it says if you want to watch this, if you want the word of the day, you have to unlock it by watching an ad. And then when I unlocked the ad, it was like, well, if you want to unlock this ad, then you've got to play the game. And it was all the, and then, so I played the game.
That's how they get you. That's
Play
the
the
TikTok.
game. Then after you play the game, then there's the countdown to watch the ad. After you watch the ad, and
Wait,
then
did you do all this?
did all of it.
Oh, no.
And then the word was languid. And I was like, no way. So I went to Google on my, just on the Safari, and I was like, okay, what is a word of the day from yesterday? And it was much better. And I remembered it because I'd been using the dictionary yesterday. And the word was churlish.
Oh,
Because when I saw that the word was
Well, it made you feel churlish after all this, didn't it?
when I saw that the word was churlish, I was like, that reminds me of a movie. There was a funny character that used the word churlish. So churlish is irritable or rude, right? And I remember I was like, I feel like there was a comedy or something where the person's like, churlish?
Did you?
And so I actually Googled. I was like, what movie uses the word churlish?
And
Because,
what was it?
well, I was hoping you'd guess. I was hoping that you that was.
Is it Shop Around the Corner?
No, it is
That's my
not.
guess. The other one would be Sleepless in Seattle, because I have like that kind of a rom-com-ish vibe.
No, it was Jordan Peele being Mr. Garvey in the Key and Peele comedy series where he's the substitute teacher.
Well, that's a
and I
sketch.
absolutely
A sketch.
And I absolutely love his character, Mr. Garvey, and he's like mispronouncing like Denise.
Oh, yeah.
He's mispronouncing all the students' names and stuff. And as former teachers and current writers, it really hit home.
Oh. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sin. We're going to move on to Wildlife Watch. This is very quick, actually, because it's going to tie in with my current event, and we want to keep this flowing this morning for you. So I will just say, if you watch this little snippet, there was a bobcat spotted not too far from us. That's how a bobcat.
Oh, wow.
That's how it looks in the wild. A little bit like a house cat, except you'll notice it has a little bob tail.
Oh.
That's the bobcat. All right, so that's our Wildlife Watch for today. Moving on to current events. Current events. If you like your raisins, you'll like current events. Honey, shh.
It's like we're going live.
Oh,
It's like we're going
it
live.
is a little bit. Today it is. Max, no, please don't.
I mean,
Max, this is why we don't go live, because it would hurt your ears. It's because in the morning, that's when people what?
Allison, here is your reminder.
it's time to wrap
How
up.
dare you?
To wrap up.
It says 16 minutes. We're trying to keep these
We're trying
down.
to-
Believe it or not, our goal is 15
Alexa,
minutes.
stop. Our goal now is 15 minutes for the
Really?
new. That's another tweak. We're like, you know what? Maybe instead of 20, we'll do 15. We're gonna do it, guys. I think there's enough editing. It's gonna work under 20. It's gonna be 15. Thing. Go ahead. So yesterday I had to go to the ER again for one of my
Round 3.
I have one more round of this rabies vaccine. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you didn't watch episode 11. Was it 11 or 10? One of them. The one where I had the bandaged hand.
Rescuing the little feral cat.
That's the full ER story. But so now I feel like I'm getting to know everyone. And I went back
At
the ER. Well, there's only like 2 doctors and 6 nurses. It's the same team. Max is coming to give me some cudges.
That's British for cuddle.
So you guys know
or
that,
Welsh.
don't you?
Welsh for cuddle.
Is it?
Maybe.
It's a little cudge.
That's Welsh.
But so the nurse and I were chatting, and she was explaining to me, and this is a current event because it happened on the mountain and it happened yesterday. She was very
on theme.
She was very distraught because when she came to work this morning, which was yesterday, she said they have a local bobcat. So you just saw how a bobcat looks. They had a local bobcat that visited all the time. In fact, once her son called her out to the backyard and was like, Mom, come. And she said she went running, and there's a bobcat like 10 feet away from her.
During the day.
Her son. And she said she had to make noise to scare it away. Her son was making noise, and it took a while. It was a very mellow bobcat. And I think that's an important part of the story because she was saying how the coyotes got the bobcat. And she was very sad that they found the remains, and the neighbor was saying, you know, our bobcat, the coyotes got the bobcat. But I said to her, after she told me this story about her son, who is now an adult, I said, well, do you think it was an older bobcat? And that I feel like a bobcat could get away from coyotes because bobcats I feel like they leap up trees. And I know coyotes can climb, but even she said her own house cats can get away from a coyote.
The amount
I don't
of
know why.
outdoor
Wouldn't
cats
test
in this
that.
community, it's just
I would not
boggles
test
the
that.
mind, but that's okay.
So our current event is the
I won't be shiggy.
the bobcat a few neighborhoods over. I guess that had become a staple in the neighborhood that they kind of grew up with was brought down by the coyotes. But that's the cycle of life because apparently it couldn't get away from the coyotes anymore. All right, so story time.
Story time. All right, today's story time is this day, as in yesterday, back in history, in our personal history. So September 20th, 2019 was the day we crossed over from, we'd had meetings in Toronto.
Into the afterlife. We're ghosts.
When we crossed over from Toronto into New York, we were meeting our friend Dan for dinner that night. We have all these pictures of us at the...
We had a meeting in Toronto, which was probably one of the most fun meetings ever.
I'm about to tell the story.
I won't tell. Okay, sorry. I thought you were skipping over that to get to
No,
it.
I want to come back.
Right, okay,
I want to come back to it because that's exactly, we both remember that meeting because
very fun.
It was a very fun meeting and probably had the best. But first, before I get to that point,
Okay.
let me just quickly say, lots of pictures of us at the falls.
Niagara Falls.
And literally crossing over we parked and crossed over by foot so we could like do the whole.
From Canada to the United States.
And then we met our friend Dan for dinner that night in his hometown.
Upstate
He's
New
in
York.
upstate New York, about 6 hours, if I remember correctly, from Toronto. And so what I was going to say about that morning is insert picture of us just about to go into that meeting, but the best chocolate croissant I've ever had in my life. Do you remember that chocolate croissant? Maybe I was just enjoying that chocolate croissant while you were having this meeting.
I don't remember it as well as you
Was
do.
I just fully focused on the chocolate croissant?
I remember the orange juice. I remember it was like fresh squeezed orange juice. And I remember the orange juice. That was story time.
That's the story time.
I have show and tell, and I thought I had story time, but I have found a way to use props so that it will feel like it's show and tell, but it's really story time part 2 because yesterday I was going down to LA.
Those are your props.
All right, so I was going down to LA for a commercial audition, and it was a callback, but I want to say SAG strong, WGA strong. This is not in conflict with that. I won't go into the details, but these were my props. And so keep this in mind. We're going to come back to these. I will just say, as I was in the little waiting area, everyone's sitting on benches, very calm. You're kind of centering yourself. Callbacks are less people, but maybe higher stakes because
you've gotten to the next
You're
round.
one step away now from the avails, which are the bookings. So,
avails are not necessarily bookings, but they're even closer. To
I think someone once said commercial auditions are 300 people, callbacks are 30 people, avails are 3 people, and then you book it. So this is the callback. So we're all sitting on our benches. We're all very, internally gathering ourselves, gathering our energy, preparing ourselves. Here's the thing. It was an audition that all you have to do. It's 2 teachers meeting in a hallway. You just pass each other, smile and nod, and walk on. So the guy sitting in front of me was like a chatty Cathy, and he had all this nervous energy, and he was like, like he was such nervous energy. We were paired together as the two teachers that cross each other. And right before we went in, he was saying like, I shouldn't have had caffeine. My heart is like, I can't even breathe. And he was so nervous. And he said, he's like, my hands are clammy. And the lady he'd been talking to, she's like, isn't it interesting what the body does when it gets this nervous? And I was thinking maybe he had lines I didn't know about. So he said, how are you feeling? And I said, well, I don't have any lines, so I'm fine. And he said, I don't have any lines. I was not nervous at all because we just had to smile at each other. That's all we had to do.
I remember when you were heading down yesterday for this callback, you're like, this is the easiest callback ever. We just have to smile.
I had zero nerves. So fast forward, how life works. We're now in the room with the camera operator. And he goes first because he's supposed to be pouring a cup of coffee, and then we cross paths. And I am getting ready for my entry, but I can see their screen. I can see the perspective of the team that's watching him. And he took all of that nervous energy and harnessed it into this beautifully calm performance where he's pouring this cup of tea, and he like embodied being natural.
Oh, wow.
Being calm.
He's a lights up actor.
I was like, whoa. Honestly, I was like, who is this person? So all of his nervous energy. And so then it was my turn. So the director, she was like, oh, I like that you brought all these props.
Oh, really?
You know, she did. I was like, you're welcome or whatever. And so here's the first take. And I'm like looking at and then we pass. Hi, and she's like, no, Allison, you were looking at the paper a little too long. Can you put the paper down? Remember, all we have to do is cross each other to smile. Okay, sure. Okay. Hey!
You were like,
I had so much nervous energy, and I was like, I'm not gonna catch him. And then they had me walking towards the camera, so I feel like as I got close to the camera, like, hey, hi! Like he was still calm, and he's like, what's up or whatever, and she's like, all right, let's do one more. Let's have you start a little earlier so you have time to see him across the way, say your hello from a distance. Then when you get to the camera, you're passing by. So I'm like, got it. Okay. Hi. Anyway, I thought this is such an important lesson in humility because my energy in the room was like so off the charts. The director was like, what just happened? He centered his energy.
Isn't that funny?
Anyway, there will not be an avail for this one, but I really hope and pray he gets an avail and a booking because he was fantastic. Bobby, shout out to Bobby. By the way,
Bobby.
while we're doing shout outs, Andy has given us, she wrote a message, you're the Andy you know from...
Andy Chamet?
Yes!
Oh, Andy! Andy's living my dream life right now. She and her family have just moved to Switzerland.
I think she knows that we said we give shout outs to anyone who comments because she said, I'm commenting from Zurich.
Andy, I'm coming to Switzerland to see you guys and to take a teaching job because I would give my eye teeth to live in Switzerland.
Sin would give up writing and go back to teaching to live in Switzerland. That's how
we brought it full circle.
All right. Thinking of you, Love Bug.
Thinking of you, oh, ouch. Thinking of you, Lovey. And, guys, go outside, enjoy the day, do something special. We'll be here tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.